Hello everybody and welcome to Non Sequitur News for December 2nd, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 337. I am Merwat, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to be talking about these 10 articles. Pollogotchi. Annual holiday card contest. Big car, big parking fee. A new spaceport enters the battle. Mail to Canada temporarily suspended. Cash on a plane. The boss of Stellantis stalls. Himalayan Distillery starts. Gamers Nexus and NZXT. I don't know why they call themselves Gamers Nexus. Anyway, I have weird lighting on the side of my head. This is Non Sequitur News. Anyway, and finally, we're going to talk about a man has a few ups and downs on a roller coaster. That and more, powered by ohmtown.com. Go over there and become a citizen. That's it. That's that right there, up there at the top of the screen. 50 channels, 7 of them have been turned into actual shows. Go over there. That's where all the news is aggregated, and then I throw a whole bunch of noise at you. So if you don't want to even bother with that, just go over to ohmtown.com. But there's also YouTube, and now 1,600 episodes are out there. The podcast, there's 7 podcasts out there, and the daily one is Non Sequitur News, Discord and its channels, all kinds of stuff, and of course Twitch. But anyway, see you on the other side. Hello, sentient AI from the future. Hey, Beacon, if you're listening, guess what? You probably can't hear me. Getting tired of this software. There's there's noise and that I can't get rid of, and it's not transmitting from Beacon Link and the Beacon Studio, my gaming machine, out. And I have some weird lighting there on the side of my head. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. Anyway, that's not what this show is about. My poor lighting. And that's true. Let's get into this, though. It's over in Wanted. This KFC chicken thigh. Tamagotchi knockoff. Looks finger-licking good. It says finger licking fun, but that's not their saying. Finger licking good. The reseller market has already bumped the price of the Eduardacci, the virtual chicken thigh, to almost $30. That's a lot of clucking dollars. The Florence Ion, I think, is their name, or is that an L? Is that Lawn? No, it's Ion. Florence Ion. Yeah. So, because there would be a big duh right there if it was an L. But anyway, the big duh is me going duh. Anyway, it's over at gizmodo.com, and there's the Eduardacci. But it says KFC on it. The holidays are the worst time of the year to book a transatlantic flight and attempt to buy a limited edition Tamagotchi. But this is one virtual pet that they may have to be willing to jump through a couple of hoops that they can add it to their collection. Over the past weekend, Eduardacci, the chicken thigh, has been trending in the Tamagotchi collectors forum and blogs for its delicious take on the iconic digital toy. So for those that are in the podcast, listening to this via the podcast, it is a Tamagotchi. So it's got this tiny little screen, and it has 4 buttons. At the top of it, it's Eduardacci. I don't know if that's something else, but KFC is center on this chicken drumstick. Actually, it's a drumstick shaped Tamagotchi. For all intents and purposes, a Tamagotchi, Eduardacci is, Though Bandai does not officially license it, WarCrafters has 4 buttons rather than the standard 3. You take care of it like any other pet. It sleeps, eats, poops regularly. It also gets sick and will require medical care, as chicken thighs do after being grilled and baked. So, yeah. No. I was gifted a couple of them, and they're actually sitting... Yeah, they've died multiple times. I don't know if there's like a hardcore mode where you can never bring it back, but I think you can always reset them. They should make it hard mode so that if you mess up, it dies and they have to go through all of the stages of grief. And nope. You gotta learn quick. So WarCrafters was initially handed out as a pop-up shop in Madrid, Spain, and is available at participating KFC restaurants throughout the city until December 3rd. They're about €4 a piece, the cheapest price that they've seen branded virtual pet go for in a while. However, those of us, not me, the author, Florence Ion, which has an awesome name for a writer on the internet. Anyway, however, those collecting from overseas will pay much more. The reseller market has already inflated the cost of the digital drumstick. eBay listings, $30. And with more notoriety, the supply and demand shifts that, so. Madrid, not Madrid. You doing okay? You doing okay? Whoa, wait. Okay, you want to talk again?
I think I was trying to mash up Madrid and Spain and came out with Madrid.
All right, I guess that works. And just, the software muted you. Not...
Are you sure it wasn't you?
Yeah, but okay. Anyway. Let's move on. The next article is over in the Law Nerd channel, which is all about law, but I'm not an attorney, nor is the sentient AI's visualizer, nor is their voice. But anyway, even if I was an attorney, I'm not your attorney. So if you want law advice, go see your attorney. I like law, but I'm not an attorney, so don't take my advice. You can take my advice and go to an attorney and go, hey, this numbskull on the internet blurted out this. Anyway, odds on, though. I can't say anything. I can't go. I'm probably right.
Probably don't want to make any non-attorney representations of being an attorney.
Yeah, I am not an attorney. Anyway, I get a kick out of the law and attorneys and the situations that people bring themselves into the presence of attorneys. There's this joke about how a guy walks into a bar and he finds out that his attorney actually sits at the bar all the time, and so he sits down next to his attorney, and the attorney turns to him and says, "Hey, Joe, good to see you. Hey, tell the one about your legal problems with your mom, because you tell it the best." So this article is Above the Law 16th Annual Holiday Card Contest, and it says, we look forward to your submissions. Thank you and happy holidays. And that's all that this really is. Okay, when you go over to the article, Stacy Zaretsky from Above the Law is putting out a plea saying, well, wait, legally a plea is a little different. But anyway, they're making a request for you to send in your legal holiday cards. It kind of has some rules to it. But they do this for the last 16 years. They've been doing this. We've never highlighted it. But when I saw this, I said, oh, man, I need to talk about this. But they talk about, thanks to Millbank, we're talking year-end bonuses and special bonuses too. The holiday season is already off to a great start. And for most law firms, that's pretty much where you get a gift, right? It isn't a pat on the back, great job, because that's all your professional duty. You're supposed to do the job to the best of your ability. So pats on the back are probably more kind of like, hey, good job, that kind of a thing. Afterward, when they're in the bar, they're drinking it up and having a good time and talking shit about other firms and cases and stuff like that. Well, anyway, the money. So I tell the story about how I know somebody that the first year out of school, their very first case, they saved so much money and made so much money for the firm that they paid for law school in one check as a bonus.
Good for them.
Yeah. So they talk about it being a legal website. So, of course, there are some rules because we are committed to the environment here at Breaking Media. That's the parent for Above the Law. We will consider only e-cards. Don't send us paper holiday cards. Then they say to submit a card, you send it here. They prefer links. Worthy contenders will be evaluated and then highlighted in a later posting, and in your email explain why. So I'm not counting on there being a lot of attorneys in the midst of ohmTown, but there might be. But the reason why I did this is because I saved 2 articles from this right here, these 2, year-end bonuses and special bonuses. So Millbank is well known. Catherine Rubino, way back in August 8th, puts out this breaking: Millbank wows associates with summer bonuses up to $25,000. And it really depends on where you come from. Okay. How long in the tooth you are in the legal field and how long you've been with the firm. So if you come in at 2024, straight out of law school, you're graduated, you're only going to get a $6,000 bonus. But if you've been around, hit a few branches from the legal ugly tree, falling through it, you'll make 25 grand. And you're like, wow, that is a lot of money. What a great thing. That's just amazing. Woo. Well, November 11th, 2024, woohoo, Millbank is not messing around with associates' money. Fresh off the market leading summer bonuses, months later, associates at the firm are still waiting patiently for their cash, apparently. Yeah, from other firms. Months later, associates at other firms are still waiting patiently for their cash. The firm is leading on bonuses again. So today, Millbank became the first major big law firm to announce year-end bonuses. And if you've been around since 2016, you can expect 2016 and 2017, $115,000 in bonuses.
Wow, so that's on top of the $25,000 summer bonus.
Okay, just to put this in perspective, though, if you think that you're going to get away with working 2,000 hours a year, you're out of your freaking mind.
No, I imagine they have some of the worst billable hours with those bonuses, but that is outrageous.
Yeah. So what's going on at your firm? If your firm announces year-end bonuses, let them know ASAP. It's all part of this whole thing that they do. But they had this memorandum go out. It has to be a memo. Anyway, let's move on. So this next article is over on the Hatch Ideas channel, which is about business transformation. And it says, should you pay more for parking if you have a fat-ass car?
Are you taking up 2 parking spaces? Maybe.
Well, this is a BBC article, but it says some councils are considering charging owners of larger vehicles more for parking permits because you're taking up, look, I can park.
Well, we know
3
those
minis.
parking spaces in the UK, like those ones that go around the curve.
Yeah, that one is actually kind of interesting. Should you pay more for parking if you have a big car? Shanaz Musafer, Grace Dean, Josh McMinn put this article together, and they have a highlight of I think that's an H. That's not a 3, that's a 2, I think. Anyway, So we're consulting on the principle of whether it's right, if you're driving a larger or more polluting vehicle, to pay a bit more. Other councils, including Bristol, Oxford, and Haringey, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I'm really sorry, in North London, are also looking into the option of charging larger vehicles more. But if the culture is for small cars and you are bucking the trend because you want to be a badass in your Hummer, then
or your new Cybertruck that has just made it over to the UK.
Yep. Then maybe you should. Maybe you should pay more, and it should be based on the standard vehicle, which this is what's going to end up sucking, right? Because everybody's going to start moving into these bigger cars. But the bigger cars translate into more harm done when there are accidents because there's more kinetic energy.
Right, maybe more pollution if they're ICE cars.
Yep. So a YouGov poll last year found 39% of adults thought that there should be higher parking fees for bigger and heavier cars, while 53% thought that all cars should have the same
Let me
parking
guess.
fees.
The 39% drive small cars and the 53% drive large cars.
For sure. So the split was much closer in London than any other place, with 45 thinking bigger cars should pay higher and 44 thinking they shouldn't. But I would say that it's the people just don't want to pay to play, and they'll pay for the car and they say that that's good enough. Well, if it's doing more damage to roads, if it's polluting more, et cetera, it's using more gas, it's taking up more space, it's taking up more than one parking spot, then you should pay more. So heavier or longer, it says, but what do you actually mean by bigger? Where the price of a permit varies depending on your car's emissions, the council proposed adding 5% surcharge for medium vehicles that are 4 to 4.49 meters long and a 10% surcharge for anything over 4.5 meters long. So to put that into context, a Kia Picanto,
which sounds small from the name, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is a small car. What do they call that? When the sound...
Oh, onomatopoeia.
Yeah. A Volvo V40 or a BMW 1 Series is a medium, and an MG5 or Land Rover Discovery is large. Haringeys, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway.
It's not the bags.
The what?
Isn't the Birkin bag?
The
Birkin. Birkin.
Birkin.
By Hermes.
Oh, yeah. Hermes. Burr. It's okay. Your audio, it's sometimes a little squeegee, right? I mean, makes weird sounds sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah, that was definitely the audio. It must have been a beacon problem, not an AI glitch.
Sure. That's it. Yeah. So in Cardiff, weight is the factor under consideration. Whether vehicles over 2.4 tons revenue weight should pay more, though no price has been suggested. Revenue weight refers to the maximum weight of a vehicle, including passengers, fuel, and luggage. So if your vehicle is fat or thick...
What if you have heavy passengers? That would be awkward.
I don't know if that small of a... Can you imagine... like 1 pound. It's probably measured on the typical occupant.
They probably don't actually make you go through a weigh station with your passengers. That would be really
like an 18-wheeler.
Horrible.
Oliver Lord is from the Clean Cities campaign group, which worked on the campaign in Paris, arguing that SUVs are dangerous and bad for the environment. He says that it's inevitable that size-based parking charges will come to the UK, pointing to the fact that 60% of car sales in the last year have been SUVs.
So they would have been smarter to institute these charges before all those sales were made, because now everybody's going to get bent out of shape. They're going to go, we didn't know about that.
Yeah, you're changing the rules. You bastards. I'm really sorry.
We're having an off day here in hometown.
It's a Monday. Oh, wait, it's Tuesday. Just kidding. It's Monday. Anyway, if you look at the key workers or people who live outside the city, these are not 2-car families. These are 1-car households because that's what the family budget allows. So it will be big in a state or SUV, and a state is a sedan, bigger car.
Yeah, I didn't know what that had to do with it. I thought it meant a property.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think that they should be. I think that they should be charging more based on the size of the car, particularly in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think the roads can handle larger, heavier cars.
Yeah, there's been talk about what's going on with electric vehicles on UK streets and stuff, and that they're not built for these heavy cars, but they're normally built enough that they can withstand it, but they're not designed to withstand it. So anything that falls out of perfect will mean that there's going to be damage done to the road over time. Anyway, let's keep moving on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. New $3 million spaceport begins construction on remote island. A new spaceport planned for construction in Scotland has broken ground. I think this is so that they can actually build that little spinning thing from Contact so that what's her name can fall through it.
Oh, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster can actually go
I don't remember the character's name.
A wormhole. Yeah, I can't remember her name either. Anyway, Theo Berman over at Newsweek.com put the article together, and it says here the Spaceport 1 has broken ground on the island of North Wist. It's UIST, with the goal of being fully operational by 2025. The port is the third launch site to be announced in Scotland in recent years, following the Sutherland Spaceport in Mellness and Saxavord Spaceport in Shetland.
Did you know that there were any spaceports in Scotland? I did not.
Nope, I had no freaking idea. The spaceport will reportedly be able to support as many as 10 suborbital rocket launches a year once fully operational, giving the UK a significant boost in capabilities for satellites and other space technology. Once completed, the spaceport has a price tag of £2.6 million or $3.3 million for enabling works. Is set to be UK's only dedicated commercial suborbital launch site. But
isn't it just me? That seems like a low price tag for a spaceport, but maybe it's not particularly complex.
It's funny that it's a space complex, but it's not complex. I think it's just the platform, and it isn't like the housing and other infrastructure.
Right, because that just seems, although that's a lot of money, it doesn't seem like that's a lot of money related to space.
I mean, $3.3 million is not that much in terms of like hardened concrete and stuff like that. I mean, it seems like it's just going to be your basic pad, but I'm not sure exactly what all is going to be launched there. I don't think SpaceX rockets are going to be taking off from there, but
no, they can only do up to 10 per year, I think.
Yeah, and they're suborbital, so they're going up, but they're not staying up. So the Scottish construction company Macaulay Askernish, which sounds like a critter that's going to come out of the woods.
I was thinking it sounds like a character out of a fantasy book or something.
Harry Potter or something.
Yeah.
So is undertaking the initial stages of infrastructure, the news release said, and it's set to construct the enabling infrastructure in Skulpig Farm in North Wist, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. To prepare the spaceport for an operator. So pretty cool. I mean, I'm here for this stuff. I want us, and I really want some people to really go. Just go. Anyway, it's pretty neat. And the
like
video
to
has
launch
nothing to
into space and perhaps stay in space?
Sure. Yeah. Go to Mars. Anyway, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A U.S. mail to Canada temporarily suspended. USPS has asked customers to refrain from mailing items addressed to Canada until further notice, and I think it's so that nobody spooks Santa.
I don't know what this is about, but I don't think I've ever heard of this happening.
Yeah, I don't remember this ever happening before either, but this is a Newsweek article put together by Emma Marsden. And it says customers were asked to refrain from mailing items addressed to Canada until further notice. They reached out to the Canadian Union of Postal Workers via email for comment, but it was outside of normal working hours. So USPS said that this service disruption affects all classes of international mail, including letters, parcels, and express services, specifically Priority Mail Express International and other international services. They said it's closely monitoring the situation and will continue to update customers until the situation returns to normal. They have not updated the site, so I suspect that this is still ongoing. Approximately 55,000 Canada Post employees began a strike on November 15th, disrupting mail services across the country just
That was
ahead
2
of the
weeks
holiday
ago.
season. Yep, so the
Wow.
strike, which included a shutdown of some post offices and a halt to mail and parcel deliveries, has affected businesses and individuals nationwide. So I suspect that there's a backup of there's no room to store the actual deliveries that are transiting into
Right.
Canada.
It's like the shipping problem when there was a strike. Obviously, maybe a smaller scale, a piece of mail compared to a shipping container, but
The
same idea.
the Canadian border is wedged in the Suez.
Can't have that again.
Yeah, and
But
it's
and
I
it's not just US mail, right? Everybody else's mail going to Canada should
right.
be similarly impacted.
Yeah, but they're saying what's really ironic about this is that just like the Evergreen, the Canadian mail system is wedged.
Yeah.
The ship was called the Evergreen. That one that was wedged in the canal, and you don't want anything lodged in your canal. Anyway, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Friends hide cash in plane for one lucky passenger or the flight crew. A viral video shows money being left on a flight, and one lucky person might find it the next time that they travel, but it's going to be the flight crew because they actually check things.
Right, or the cleaning crew or whatever.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if they break that out that, like, is the cleaning crew not the
I
flight
was thinking like
attendants?
maintenance, but maybe it's all part of the same
Interesting.
operation in between flights.
Passenger in for a surprise as kind strangers leave cash on flight. So, snakes on a plane? No. Cash in a pocket.
This is much
Um,
better.
yeah. Hopefully, you don't get bit and you find out later that it's all counterfeit. Or it's one of those asshole bills that people put like a message or whatever else on it, and it's not a real dollar at all. Anyway, Brian Dillon over at Newsweek.com put this article together, and it says we will be hiding 20 pounds, about $25, every day under a golden fleece sticker around the UK. It says TV producer and co-founder of Golden Fleece Films, Sasha Clayton, along with his friend, radio presenter, and TikToker. That's okay. Anyway, Niall Gray have decided to give away money that would have otherwise been spent on marketing in the lead up to Christmas, and just want you to all realize that this is marketing.
Exactly. Their marketing budget is being used for marketing.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty funny. So, in a video posted by Golden Fleece Films, a video production company set up by two friends, viewers can see 20 pounds being hidden on the back seat of an EasyJet flight. However, they have not disclosed what flight it is. So, everybody's going to be tearing apart Easy Flight jets looking for a whopping 20 pounds.
Well, they're going to be looking for these orange stickers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they're going to be there, but the 20 pounds are gone because people are going to be taking the 20 pounds. So,
Exactly, before the passengers got on.
so the marketing is working because people are going to be looking for this. It's so stupid. I mean, it's brilliant in the it's only $20, but yeah. So it says our EasyJet video blew up and had everyone, including EasyJet staff members, looking for this money behind a seat, hidden behind a seat. All they know is that it's on row 18, but EasyJet has almost 400 aircraft. But yeah, this is marketing, so great. I hope that they do stuff that is like responsible because they're tying EasyJet to that brand.
That is true. Yeah, you don't want somebody like stowing away or something to get this prize because
It,
of this promotion.
I mean, you're marketing in somebody else's house. I think that goes outside the bounds of your normal marketing. So can do
Yeah, what if
reputational harm.
EasyJet is like, hey, we don't support Golden Fleece films or whatever. We support
Yeah,
whatever the
whoever it is.
competitor
Yeah,
is, Silver Fleece
I was gonna
films
say
or
bronze.
something.
That was funny. I was gonna say bronze. All right, let's keep moving though. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel, which again is all about business transformation. So, boss of car making giant Stellantis abruptly quits. The company making the car making giant owns brands like Vauxhall, I guess it is, and Jeep, Fiat, Peugeot.
Now, I know Stellantis has been taking a beating in the news lately,
Yeah,
and I
because they
think it's stock as well.
yeah, because they're doing stupid things and their prices are outrageous. And so Theo Leggett and Peter Hoskins over at BBC.com put this article together. And it says before his resignation, Mr. Tavares, Carlos Tavares, was one of the most powerful people in the global motor industry. In a statement announcing Mr. Tavares' departure, Henry de Castries, Stellantis' senior independent director, said Stellantis' success since its creation has been rooted in perfect alignment between the reference shareholders, the board, and the chief executive. However, in recent weeks, different views have emerged which have resulted in the board and the chief executive coming to today's decision. So a board really has fiduciary duty in relation to the shareholders, and their job is to hire the CEO and task them with objectives that they need to achieve during their tenure as CEO. Failing hitting those metrics or ideological differences rising to the level where the steam engine just boils over. It's supposed to be like clockwork and everybody is working well together. And everybody is available for communication and things like that. Well, it says he was known for being able to turn around companies that were troubled. Hans Grimmel, Asia editor at Automotive News, told the BBC. However, Mr. Tavares' position has been undermined recently by a dramatic fall in sales and profits at the company. Critics would say he was just cost-cutting too much and delaying products and also hurting quality. But here's the deal there. If you are making money and that money is being funneled to the right people, it's not a big deal. Everybody's happy when everything goes up.
That's true.
But if you falter, it's an immediate, they pull the lever and flush you down the drain. And it's kind of expected, I guess, at this level. In September, Stellantis had issued a profit warning after it reported a sharp drop in sales in North America. Their prices were outrageous, and the dealerships were actually raising their prices to the point where people were going, "Are you out of your freaking mind?" I mean,
like it got to the point that people would not buy anything from them, which was pretty astounding because I think people like these brands.
yeah, and then people were like, "You're kidding me! Jeep's this expensive, and with this many these plurality of issues, that people were going, no way is the quality worth it." And talk about damaging a brand. The reputation of Jeep was pretty damn good up until the last.
It really
couple of years.
was. Now it's probably down the tubes, and they're gonna have to rebuild that reputation.
Yeah, post pandemic, it's a hot mess.
Yeah, not the best time to do it.
So the Stellantis share price has fallen by 40% since the start of this year, a far worse performance than its rivals. It fell further after Mr. Tavares' departure. I don't know why they... Yeah, anyway. It fell further, down more than 9% on Monday today. So, sucks. Well, see you later. They've got a plan, I'm sure, but who knows? It says In Europe, Stellantis has suffered the same fate as many other manufacturers, coming under pressure from Chinese rivals at a time when the take-up of electric vehicles has been more sluggish than expected. And we've been calling this for the last 3 years that society is not ready for an all-electric vehicle. We need something to transition from, and reliability is the key element here. Reliability in the battery, reliability in the infrastructure that can support charging the system. We really
reliability and going up the hill in the rain, in the wind.
Snow. Yeah, I mean, when weather can impact it at just a fantastical level, battery performance suffers in extreme cold and extreme heat. So if you're not in the Goldilocks zone of temperature for EVs, you suffer. You can't even pull stuff without a disproportionate amount of battery being drained per an ICE vehicle. If you have an internal,
I wouldn't even put a bag on the roof.
It's
with
too
an
much
EV.
drag. Yeah. And depending on the EV, you can't get it wet or look at it sideways. Anyway, let's move on. So this one I thought was really interesting because it says Himalayan Distillery starts whiskey production. Himalayan Spirits has begun whiskey production at its new distillery in Uttarakhand, India, which will produce Himalayan single malt.
I did not know that there was Himalayan, at least commercial spirits.
I had no idea either, but I'm going to get my hand on one of these. Located in the Himalayan region of Uttarakhand, the distillery uses Forsyth's pot stills from Scotland and 100% Indian barley for production. Nestled in the Himalayan foothills, the family-owned distillery was founded by Ansh Khanna and Samarth Prasad in 2023. So it's going to be a very, very young spirit unless they get it from somebody else and distill again. And
oh, right, because they're in the early years. It hasn't aged, etc.
Yeah, and so you get a bottle today, and that's it. What you really need is a barrel, and you leave it in the barrel so that it can keep on breathing. And I wonder just how distinct it's going to be. Himalaya Spirits produces Kumayan, and it says I-Gin. Is that right? Anyway, let's go over to the Spirits Business website, which is where we source this article from. Nicola Carruthers is the author, again, at thespiritsbusiness.com. And these are a big-ass pot stills. So this is the top of the pot. Underneath it is the actual boiler and where all of the spirit is as it gets turned into a gas and a vapor, actually, and then condenses back down. Anyway, it is I-Gin, Kumayan and I. Okay, which is made with 11 locally sourced botanicals, but it's a gin. So that's what it's going to be distinct because it's locally sourced botanicals and spring water, as well as cold brew coffee liqueur called Bandarful. Located across 9 acres, the whiskey distillery has an annual production capacity of 900,000 liters of pure alcohol. So this is going to be an interesting thing, and I'll look around, but some of these things, when they pop out, get they get allocated really fast, and that's the term where the bottle is already given to somebody. Even before it even gets to the store, somebody already has their hands on it. So Prasad says, our vision has always been to create spirits that are a true reflection of the land they come from. With the commencement of our Himalayan malt whiskey production, we are redefining what Indian single malts can achieve, rooted in tradition, yet progressive in craft. It's really interesting, and I don't know the actual origin story for fermented or I should say distilled spirits. Somebody had to wake up one day and go, you know what I want to do?
Exactly. I looked on their website, and I can't see an obvious way to purchase Um, I mean, I'm sure it's through distributors, etc., but um,
Yeah, you
it's
might
just
be able.
HimalayaSpirits.com.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to go and, well, I'll have to look into it. Because it just started, it may not actually distribute until mid next year. Um, but it
Well,
says
and
that it
depending on which regions they're gonna
actually distribute
distribute
to.
to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like it might not be available in the US, etc.
I mean, it's been operating for a year, so maybe it's just still local, but we'll see. I'll ask around and see. So we have two more articles to go. Gamers Nexus is claiming that NZXT's Flex PC rental program is a scam. But this is more like predatory than scam, at least in my regard. I've seen the evidence of this. And where it becomes kind of scammy is that the materials that are represented get blurry because the same names are used for multiple builds. And so a person thinking that they're getting a 4090 ends up with a 4070. The CPU is 4+ years old, things like that. And they say that the Flex program allows customers to rent pre-built gaming PCs starting at $60 a month, not including a mouse, keyboard, or monitor. But Gamers Nexus shows that NZXT changes the specs and prices of PC models day to day in some instances and offers PCs with very different setups under similar model names depending on whether you're looking to get this or that or whatever. So it's referred to in the video and in this article as bait and switch. But when you do the math, if you have any amount of critical thinking, you will realize that this is batshit crazy and you don't own it. You own nothing.
Yeah, that's the real problem, right? You're throwing a lot of money down the drain and you could have just purchased one with the specs that you wanted.
Yeah. And again, just to put this in perspective, you could get a loan via a firm. But if you can't get credit because your credit is so bad, this is the direction that you would go because they don't seemingly do a hard pull on your credit to verify the integrity of your reliability. So they just give you a machine. In fact, Gamers Nexus acquired a machine with a pretext, a false name, so that they wouldn't get detected as doing an investigation. And they couldn't do a poll because they distinctly did not provide information for them to do a credit poll. So really, NZXT is not, they're assuming the risk, but you could disappear, I suspect. But they know where they sent the machine to. Anyway, it's not worth the risk because at the end of the day, there's terms in there where if you take the system, they can charge you the amount of the contract, if I recall correctly, and that's $15,000 over the span of the contract. And there is a
Right, and if you're
contract.
doing this payment plan, you probably don't have that money to begin with.
Yeah, and there is a contract. You do not own anything. There's a bunch of people that are, what are they, influencers, that
Right.
batshit
Oh,
crazy
right, that
term.
are completely promoting the terms.
Yeah, and there is a contract. You do not own it. It isn't your property. There is no warranty because the warranty is held by NZXT because they're the real owners of the property. If you break it, they can actually charge you the full amount for the replacement value of the computer. That's in the contract. I saw that with my own eyes in the video that Gamers Nexus put together. And when this came across ohmTown, I said, yeah, we should probably talk about this. I used to really like NZXT equipment, but a couple of years ago they were acquired by an investment company. And the
Downfall of every company.
the moment that things get merged and acquired, it becomes a profit motive, ushering out quality control and only ushering in greed in its vacuum.
particularly when it's a financial company that acquires something non-financial.
Yeah, like if it was a computer company, a computer hardware company wanting to expand, and was going to leave the NZXT brand in place and not and just kind of augment what their specialty is, like an enterprise level company buying NZXT so that they could grab the gaming market. But that's not what happened. It's basically it's an investment company, and its only motive is to amass wealth and suck money out of the system and give it to the stockholders. And if it's a privately held company, then it's a very limited number of people. As time goes on, shares that are outstanding get purchased so that it concentrates where that money ends up going. And so that is kind of how I feel NZXT is going. And this is akin to my other theory, which is the moment you see little white folding tables outside of a retail establishment, it is a sign that it's in a death spiral. Every company that I have ever seen do that, death spiral.
So what was the sign here with NZXT?
The equivalent of the little table is absolutely predatory terms where you're going to charge somebody over a 5-year period or something like that $15,000. Doesn't make any sense. That's what they said in the article, but I'm not going to go through NZXT and do all of that kind of stuff. I find Gamers Nexus a reliable source of information, and they have the receipts. Literally, they acquired one of the systems. They went through all of the terms. They talked about how much it is, but it's this. It starts at $59.
Right, well, that sounds good if you're not stuck in that forever. You know, if you used it for a month or whatever, but you're using it with lower specs than you think, and you're kind of locked in, and you might be on the hook for way more than you ever expected.
And just so you know, this is not a rent-to-own program. You do not get it. So what you could do is go and buy a $3,000 system through like iBuyPower or something like that. Pay $100 a month, and you own it. And all you do is pay a little bit of juice.
Yeah, that to me is okay. That allows people to purchase items that they might not be able to purchase.
But if you have crap credit, then what you need to do are take the steps to rebuild it. And that means taking out smaller loans that you qualify for and paying it back.
Right, but it doesn't mean doing predatory contracts like this.
Right, and everybody should go and watch this video from Gamers Nexus. It's pretty entertaining at the same time.
Some good evidence that they use in the video.
I don't know where the gamers part of Gamers Nexus is. They talk about computers and technology and stuff like that, but I don't know how much gaming they actually talk about. I guess the only time I see them is when they're dropping something that, like this, it's big.
Right, it has a nexus to gaming. It's not the gaming itself, but maybe it's used for it. I don't know.
And gamers go to this nexus. Gamers converge at that nexus. So NZXT's Flex PC rental program is a scam, according to Gamers Nexus, and I certainly feel the same way. Although it's not technically a scam. Its integrity is questionable because there's variability in the build.
Yeah, that's where I think there is a potential scam. There's certainly we're charging you way too much for what this is. But if they're advertising it as like being the top of the line and it's like 4 iterations old, or it's top of the line today, but by the time you click buy, it's gone down. Yeah, there's some problems there.
And influencers are making this manifest. They're promoting this as like being reasonably priced, top of the line, no contract, warranted, etc.
It'd be interesting to see what the influencers are receiving from NZXT to say.
Right.
Because if it
It's
was
the
all these
script.
things, right, and then it's not just their own assertions.
Yeah, it's a script, and they're reading it without any due diligence, without any critical thinking as to the factual basis of this. But they're getting money, and so, oh, money, 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 I'll sell my soul. You know, it's the same kind of ideological bent for bootlicking. Let's move on. Next article is over on the Mobile channel. A man jumps out of a moving roller coaster to save his own life. A man was forced to jump out of a moving roller coaster after realizing his safety lap bar was not secured moments before it flew down its big drop, and that is exactly why the author of this article hates roller coasters. I can tell a story about me. I actually had, it was a one that was seated where a over shoulder lap bar comes down. And I just happened to, when it came down, it locked into place, and I put my arms around it and had my backpack in my lap. And went through the whole thing. And when we came back into the station, I lifted my backpack off early, and my bar went up. And
Oh my goodness.
the ride controller goes, has it been like that the whole time? And I said, well, I've been holding on to it, and I could feel it moving. And he goes, yeah, it wasn't locked.
That is really terrifying.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Luckily, I guess it didn't do a loop long enough. I don't remember it doing a loop. I don't remember that ride all that much after this many years now, but I don't remember a loop causing me to like leave my seat or anything. But I do remember that bar actually moving, and the ride controller said that it shouldn't have been moving. So this person went to the extreme. It says on Sunday, an unsuspecting rider decided to hop on the double loop roller coaster called Desert Storm at Castles and Coasters in Phoenix with his children. However, moments later, he was forced to climb out of the roller coaster and onto a platform just before it embarked on its massive downhill plunge. There's actually video of it. So the article is by Sammy Caramella over at Vice.com. This isn't the first time that we've been able to get these like videos of events on roller coasters. There was one several months ago where the roller coaster's weld point broke free from the pylon that holds it down, and roller coasters were going over it, and you could see it bouncing against the pylon. And when I saw the video, I was like, "Oh my God, this should have been detected." And
Yeah, by anybody there.
Yeah, but somebody had recorded it and then reported it later. But nobody apparently knew.
Nobody really paid any attention even to the report initially.
Yeah, it didn't even get much hustle. And what was really funny about this is I said, I could probably spin up a business right now that does nothing but this. And then lo and behold, a couple of days later, as I was working on the infrastructure for this business, a company that specializes in this kind of thing, but not on roller coasters, it was more industrial stuff, described how they're going to analyze this problem. And it was exactly what I was putting together. I'm like, damn it. There's enough people in the market that it's already saturated enough. So I thought it was really interesting. So I get, for this, you'd think that there's security sensors that are reporting back that this is locked in place.
Yeah, that's true. Like I could see previously that wasn't the case, but today it's got to be all electronic.
The 21st century, I mean, there's got to be a limit switch that when that bar comes down, it triggers something that remotes back to the console that says all seats are secure.
But not if this is a dated coaster.
You can retrofit this stuff. Come on. CNC machines have like 8 of these limit switches all over them.
The name of this place suggests it's one of these small locations. Although the coaster doesn't look like it is. That looks like a pretty significant coaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's that standard like monorail with the double track on top. So this is like standard practice now. It's not like
It's not
train
like the
tracks
older
anymore.
style or whatever. Yeah.
So it says once he was aware of his predicament, he knew he needed to act immediately. It was just adrenaline. I didn't want to die that day. That's how'd you die? A roller coaster.
He's lucky he didn't die like falling over the platform, because if he jumped too far, it looks like a pretty long drop.
Yeah, if it had been configured in any other way, he may not have known. Like with me, I was pinned to the seat by the bar, but the bar didn't lock. It was just my weight holding me down, and me holding on to the bar with my arms kept me in place. If it's just the bar, as soon as it goes up, he is free as a bird and might be learning to fly. So good on him for jumping out of it. So all the while, the operator hadn't even noticed that the man had escaped the ride and climbed down the emergency staircase back to the loading station.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he had a click, so he could tell, and then he pushed on the bar and it wasn't locked.
Yeah.
Like, it became unlocked, I guess.
And there's as soon as it became unlocked, the system should have stopped. But yeah, it says it could have been somebody younger or older, not as agile, right? He said to the outlet, luckily it was me and I was able to think fast on my feet and get out, but it could have ended differently.
I don't know how he got out, though, while it was moving. Oh, I guess maybe if it's going up the hill, it's moving at a slower pace. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see where it's going up the hill about to go down, and he steps off of it. But he's not trapped, so he just walked off, As long as it's not going 20 miles an hour, he's
right,
okay.
Right. I'm thinking of a normal speed, not the uphill part.
Yeah. So that's how close he got. After that point, it's all gravity. And every once in a while, there might be another thing that grabs onto the vehicle to pull it up another ramp. But usually it's all kinetic
and it
energy.
could be going around a curve and...
Yeah, fleeing off you go. Yep. Pretty amazing. So is this the new trend? We stopped hearing about trains. Are roller coasters now the new orange is the new black?
I hope not, because there aren't a lot of protections for people on roller coasters. Like, there aren't necessarily on a train if it goes off the tracks or something, but at least there's more infrastructure. I mean, you're out in the open. You have no protection around your head or your arms or anything.
Yeah. So we got burnt out on planes. We got burnt out on trains. And now it's roller coasters.
Right. For a while, we were hearing some boat issues, mainly whales running into them.
Oh, right. Oh, so now we need a different movie. It's not planes, trains, and automobiles. It's planes, trains, roller coasters, and boats. That works. Not only were boats being the target of whales, but boats were getting jammed in canals and stuff like that.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Man. Anyway, PSA, everybody. Don't send anything to Canada for a while. It's not going anywhere. That's just a non sequitur.
It didn't have anything to do with the roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing a callback to the fact that you can't send anything to Canada anymore. It's a myth anyway. Anyway, I'm going to jump out of this roller coaster because I don't know where it's heading, and that's going to bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen. It's real easy. 50 channels, news gets consolidated into these channels, and then we parse it each day for 10 articles. But there's a whole lot more that goes on past the front page. I mean, it's just page after page, and it's only a little snippet. Like, I'll just bring you back to our first article. KFC chicken thigh Tamagotchi knockoff looks finger-licking fun. Whatever your penchant is. But the whole article is much more detailed, and we talk about it and give credit to Florence Ion and Gizmodo, and all of our references are there. It'll be in the show notes. It's right there in the chat. You can actually get it right now. If you want the list refreshed, you can type !NSN to get all of the show notes. But they'll be over on YouTube right after the show. and then the podcast later today. Anyway, that's it. I am Mayor Watt saying bye-bye, and so is the AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. We'll have another episode for you tomorrow. Don't forget to watch the replay in between.
Hopefully. See ya.